self-checkouts in basically grocery stores that sounded like a great idea. I think grocery stores wanted to implement them so that way they can help customers get through quicker. Also, with obviously raising costs with labor, might also be cheaper to do self-checkout as well. And come to find out, really, it just became an avenue to help shoplifters take advantage of not being supervised when they come through with items with groceries or products. They're finding more that they're coming through, maybe scanning a couple items and then bagging everything and they're heading out. I actually, just this last Christmas Eve, was out shopping, even though I don't like to shop on Christmas Eve. I was out just grabbing one can for something I was making the next day. And I watched some lady walk through self-checkout with a full cart of groceries, acted like she was supposed to be there in the checkout, like she did something, and she just started walking out nonchalantly without a receipt or without obviously paying. I think grocery stores are starting to see that their shrink obviously is becoming a bigger and bigger problem, and self-checkout is being a big problem that has to be contributing to that. And it's unfortunate because some of us, like me, I like using self-checkout. If I only have a couple items, I just want to go through and then boom, I'm done. But unfortunately, people are taking advantage, and the others like us have to suffer the consequences. So grocery stores are having cashiers or people that assist with checking out at these self-checkouts, which could be a good deterrent and also helps with customer service. But those that really want to take the items that they want basically will wait for maybe the checker to go help somebody else out. And then while they have that opportunity, will then take advantage of it. So yes, it does help in a sense, but it also defeats the purpose of the grocery stores also having self-checkout to help out with their labor cost and with their shortage of staff, now having to do basically double duty. I would assume that would probably defeat their purpose of having the self-checkout and then just having a checker watch over something that should be done already by a checker. So as far as shoplifting is going throughout the state, not many stores will tell their true numbers, and that's a big hurdle for us as lawmakers to get into the actual factual data to be able to help, or some just need to see the data to prove what they say is happening is actually happening. I think most of us who go to a grocery store and shop and have seen it or have seen stores closing in areas don't need data probably to show that and prove that. Obviously, the stores are leaving for a reason. But grocery stores and retail stores throughout the state, they have shareholders. They have people that they also need to answer to. And so they have to worry about those numbers also that they share can be detrimental. All of the retailers that I've spoke to all want to help in whatever way they can to help with shoplifting. Then it's also, hey, they're also running a business. So they also have to think about that. Every single one of them obviously want the safety and security of their customers and of their employees, which I think is great. But it's hard to get the data from them. They need a space where they probably feel more secure, where we probably would get information, and the way we would share it would be as like a confidential, say, particular grocery store, retail store is maybe referred to as store X or store Z. And so that way they're still protecting, but we're getting the hard numbers that we need to help us for those that actually need the data. And so as far as law enforcement goes, misdemeanor, with an exception of a few crimes, have to be committed in their presence to make an arrest. So now law enforcement has to rely on those that actually witnessed it, or the actual victims that were part of it that witnessed it, and have them do basically a citizen's arrest, now turning them into the quote unquote bad guy. And the people or persons being arrested understand and know that. And usually now you have retaliation issues, where it used to be the law enforcement officer was the one that was taking the person. There's some bills being presented or have been presented and have passed through that are trying to help and work with that to give tools back to law enforcement, that what Prop 47 took away. I think Prop 47, to go back to remind everybody, that's where the root of this all came from. And it's hopefully California will help fix that. I think the voters want to be able to have their chance to say, hey, you know what, we did try it, it didn't work. So there's many efforts going on right now to reverse the trend with shoplifting as far as Prop 47 goes in the legislation. So any proposition that's passed by the voters has to be undone by the voters. And so that makes it a little tricky for legislators to try and help fix that. So we need to find things that were not involved with Prop 47 back then and try to introduce them. And so that's being done legislatively as we speak. But also there is a big initiative going on with retailers that are, well, most retailers that are putting together this initiative to completely reverse Prop 47 and bring it back onto the books as far as shoplifting goes. The brand new speaker that we had back in July of last year, Rob Rivas, he has a package together for retail theft, and it's a bipartisan. I'm the Republican that's part of this package with my Democratic colleagues, and it's to help our retailers, our stores up and down the state with different ways outside of Prop 47. Prop 47 again took retail theft from $400 up to $950, along with some other things involving possession of drugs. And one of the big things is petty theft with the prior 666 of the Penal Code. That also took that away, which was a huge tool, a big tool in helping law enforcement and prosecutors in making sure that those that offended basically had consequences to pay. And so this bipartisan package was introduced a while back. It's still going through the different houses. There may be some amendments that are possibly being talked about, and we'll see how that goes. And I haven't seen it happen yet, but I'm happy that the legislation is taking a stand on this and is trying to help and do their best to basically help with retail theft. In this retail package that the speaker has, a big part of it is aggregation, and so it will definitely help retail stores with making sure that maybe the at least repeat offenders are at least taking away or being deferred and not allowed to come in anymore. I think there's a few things that the public, the people of California, can do to help our retailers. One, continue to patronize, continue to go to their stores and shop and show them that you do support them. Another thing is to get involved with this initiative. I know it's been going around. I know they got the signatures for it, but showing their support there, also reaching out to them and letting them know that they stand with them and that enough's enough. They're tired of this and they want to be able to feel safe when they're shopping, and they want to be able to enjoy the stores that they have in their neighborhoods for many, many years and not lose it to shoplifting. Another thing is report. If you do see shoplifting, be a great witness. A lot of people are discouraging to get involved. Employees are definitely being encouraged and told not to get involved. Some have been fired for intervening, and it's unfortunate. But I think a great way to help also would be to be a good witness, a great witness. Take notes of who the person was, what kind of car they got in, what the license plate was, make and model, what direction they went in. That helps also. Maybe even the items that you saw in the shopping cart also will be a big help. And so I think even though we think it's just the groceries that grocery stores or retailers that have to worry about this, I think it's finally getting to the point where the public want to take it into their hands. And I think just being a good witness would be a great start. As far as retail theft goes in California, we have a beautiful state. We have a great state. Obviously, we're one of the largest economies in the world, and it's unfortunate that we're having to deal with this shoplifting problem, who are really just a small amount of our community that are doing this, and it's affecting everyone. And we have areas that are already underserved, and I think that's something that some people don't understand, is these areas that are already underserved, who only have maybe one or two stores or maybe one pharmacy, that have them shut down due to the shoplifting. And now these people who are maybe they're handicapped, or they can't get places, or they're elderly, they now have to go further and farther to go get the services that used to be in their own neighborhood. So I think those are things that we also need to think about, especially as legislators. A lot of my colleagues, all of them, they all care about their constituents and their neighborhoods, but I also want them to think about, sometimes it's unfortunate that we will cater to criminals, and we need to stop doing that. Again, that's a small population in our state, and it's affecting the rest of our state. So I think it's time we take a stand, make sure consequences come back. That will help deter the shoplifting and hopefully keep these stores in our neighborhoods, keep our community employed, and also keep our communities available and have these opportunities to be able to shop in their neighborhoods, which then gives revenue back, gives dollars back to their communities. And these stores also give back to their communities. It's a great community partnership that we have with our retailers, and we need to finally take a stand and help them.
If you haven't checked out CaliforniaInsider.com, we highly recommend you do that now, because we're going to have a lot of news and videos there. And on top of what we have there right now, we are building a really big platform to cover what's happening in California, so you can be informed. We're going to have more shows, more videos from all aspects of life in California. Go to CaliforniaInsider.com and we'll see you there.